Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Yesterday, the government has announced the third stimulus package to help Australian business overcome the coronavirus financial difficulty. Finally, Australian government start to provide cash payment to help employer to keep their employee. I think this is a very smart move. Let's have a look in detail. First, let's talk about which employer is eligible to it. The system only helps employer with less than $1 billion turnover. The turnover will also need to be reduced by 30 to 50% compared to last year. There's no information available at the moment about what kind of evidence you need to provide to show that your turnover has been reduced by 30%. I believe lots of businesses like a restaurant or travel agent, it should be pretty easy for them to prove it. But in regards to other business, whether you should provide your financial report or do they take the information from the bars you lodged, we have no idea at the moment. And also to some company or business that was registered less than 1 year ago, how do you compare the figure with last year's? Eventually, you probably just need to prove that your income was higher and it is about 30% less compared to maybe a few quarters ago or the last year's figure. Another thing is large banks are not eligible to this assistance. And also another thing very exciting is this assistance helps the self-employed business, for which means even if you don't employ anyone and you don't pay a wage, you might still be eligible to it because you're self-employed. All you need to do is to quote your ABN and also to show that your turnover has been reduced by 30%. So this is a really good extent, and this has helped solve a lot of query about how the self-employed business get helped. There's also requirement applied on employees. First, the employee must be employed before 1st of March 2020. So which means if you have a new employee coming now, it will not apply to the new employee. And the employee could also be the employee which was stood down previously because of the cash flow problem, and you can talk to the employee and rehire them back. I think this is a very good and a very flexible arrangement. In that case, even you have some employee, you ask them to stood down and to take an unpaid leave until things get better, you can start to ask them to come back now. The government will pay their wage, and you just need to pass on the government benefit to them. You can still have them in place. So if there's any job available, they can get onto it. Also, the employee must be a full-time employee or a part-time employee. If it's casual, it's still okay. And the casual employee must have more than 1 year or 12 months. So if you have a casual which started half a year ago, is not regular, that casual employee does not count. The employee must also be 16 years old, and it must be a PR or Australian citizen. It could also be a New Zealander. Also, one employee can only have one job seeker payment from one employer. So if you have an employee who also work for someone else and the other company has give them the Jobkeeper Payment, then you can give him now. So if the employer and the employee are both eligible, the way to apply is currently you only need to jump on to ATO website to register the interest. It will ask you to fill in your name, contact detail, email, and your ABN number. So they will send further information to those people who have registered the interest when it's available. So far, I've heard this policy only comes out yesterday afternoon for a few hours till this morning. It has been like more than 100,000 business registered the interest. After the application is available online, then you can start to apply online. And you need to provide information for each employee. ATO will match the employee information with your single touch payroll information you lodged. After you have registered, applied online, and also your employee payroll is up to date, in the first week of May, ATO will start to pay the $1,500 to you. You must pay at least $1,500 per fortnight for each employee who receives this assistance. The $1,500 is before tax amount. So which means you probably pay the employee about $1,300 and you keep the $200 withholding tax. The interaction with the payroll booster for cash flow for employers in the second announcement, you might be able to get this PAYG withholding twice from ATO, which means ATO will pay for the PAYG withholding and you probably can keep that $200 to yourself. It's really good to most of the employers. So if your employee is earning less than $1,500 per fortnight, then once you get this assistance, you need to pay that employee $1,500 per fortnight. You need to top up the wage. If the employee is earning more than $1,500 per fortnight, then you pay the employee the same amount, but you get $1,500 from the government. Another important thing is you need to notify your employee about this. So the employee must know that you have received the government assistance for their wage. I think this is to prevent any employee to seek this Jobkeeper payment twice with other employer. So they will let the other employers know they can get it. And another important thing is you need to keep ATO up to date monthly. I think it didn't tell any detail about what you need to keep up to date, but I think those are the information about your turnover. You need to still be reduced by 30%. Say if you in the next a few months, your turnover pick it up, you probably won't be eligible to that anymore. And also you need to keep ATO up to date about the wages. This assistance applied to 6 months. For $1,500 per fortnight times 6 months, roughly about $20,000 per employee. It's really a great help to help the employer can carry this employee through the hard period. I think this is a very smart way to do it. I think financially, Morrison government is doing a good decision on this assistance. There has been rumors about the government will give cash payment out to the public to help individuals survive and overcome this period. But I was thinking before, why would the government give money to anyone to encourage them sit home and do nothing and to enjoy a coronavirus holiday? It doesn't make sense. The government should give money to the business, to employers, to help them to keep those people in place, even there's no job, no work. But if you keep those people in place, then the business is there. If there's anything get back or recovered, or if there's any job available, these people could jump on straight away. So it's definitely better to keep people in their employment rather than to encourage them to stay home and do nothing. So I think this policy is very good in that regard. To set up and run a business is very hard. If a lot of business get closed down, it's going to take a lot of extra time and effort for new business to set up again and to carry on. But if you can help the existing business survive and they are in place, and it will be a lot more faster and easier for the economy to recover after those coronavirus financial difficult period. I believe this policy is a lot better. Back in 2008, the government gave $900 to each Australian taxpayer. Once you give money in people's pocket, you don't know how, you cannot direct them how they are going to spend this money. It's not really effective to help the economy. But currently, this policy, you give money to the employer and then they pass the wage to the employee, which keeps the business alive. And that's a good thing to do at the moment, because Australia needs more business. And also, we shouldn't be too happy about any money the government give out. It is good to help the business get over the difficult period, but those money come at a cost. It was estimated that the government will have about $160 billion deficit after this crisis, and it could be a lot more. All those money come at the cost of every Australian. It would either come from the tax or it's a loan from RBA. And eventually, every one of us will need to pay the bill. Therefore, I think it is good that the government put those money in the right place and to use it efficiently, rather than to just to give the money out. But it actually helps the business to keep the people in place and to give it out is a brilliant idea. I think they're really spending money in the right place. And also for us, I think we should be cautious about how we're going to get through this. It's not a coronavirus government paid holiday. We should use the money in the right place as well. Therefore, thanks for watching this video. I hope it's useful. I hope the coronavirus will end soon.